Namaskar everyone, I am Prakash Ranjan Sinha, Director Nurture India Consultant Private Limited. Nurture India Consultant Private Limited is a training company on investment, personal finance and life management with lot of social objective dream. The social objective dream is to connect with the general masses of this country and through various trainings, webinars and videos help them, guide them on certain aspects of life, be it finance, money management or life management. So the idea is to help them remove all their fears, all their doubts, make things clearer, explain them in very simple words so that they can do the decision making on their own with all the confidence and conviction. In order to achieve this, Nurture India is going to run a series of videos under Nurture India Investors Jagrukta Abhiyan for investment related topics. I have got 32 years of experience in this professional investment life, and I have felt there are many aspects of investment which needs better explanation, better clarity, and all these things has to be done in a very simple language. So all this drive towards having videos is toward meeting those objectives. Now let's see what we can start with. So the first topic which I have chosen is why mutual fund sahi hai. We have been seeing this advertisement in various TV channels done by various celebrities. One question comes to my mind is, should I be investing just because somebody is saying whom I admire a lot, or should I be investing based on my own confidence and conviction? Ultimately it's my money. I am investing for myself or my family. So my confidence and conviction has to be about the subject matter, and then only I should be buying it or purchasing it. So one suggestion to each one of you is, never buy or never do anything just because something is being advertised. You should have your own understanding, own confidence, own conviction, and then only you do that thing. Now let's see whether it's really sahi hai. For anything to be sahi hai or good, it should meet some yardstick. And as an investor, when I look at it, the yardstick which I feel should be, it should be meeting my objective. It should be having variety of products. It should be managing all the risk. It should be taking advantages of the various opportunities provided by the market and economy. There should be lots of options to choose from. That means enough flexibility. Nothing should be hidden. Everything should be transparent. And it should be well regulated so that my investment objective or my investor interest is taken well care of. Now let's see, does it fulfill my needs, my requirement? I am investing with certain objective. So there are schemes which has got defined investment objectives, be it regular income, safety of capital, protection of capital, growth of capital, tax saving, anything. So I have to select a product which can match my investment objective with the scheme objective. So there are variety of schemes where I can choose it based on my own investment objective. The second thing, it's my money. I can require it anytime. That means I can sell it and get back cash. Now except for one or two schemes where there is a lock-in clause, there is no liquidity issue. And where there is lock-in clause also, like equity linked saving scheme, it is well stated. So liquidity is not a problem for an investment in a mutual fund. As all investment should be done with some objective in mind, so there are solution oriented schemes like children plan, retirement plan. So these are the two very important goals in any person's life, for a better future of my children or for better retirement planning. In fact, all the mutual fund product, if invested in a very proper manner, that means with right asset allocation, keeping a right investment horizon in mind, can act as a good solution for any investment objective. I can invest with as low as rupees 500 or 1000. So even a small saving of 500 to 1000 can be put to investment. Does it provide variety of products? So when I look at the mutual fund, I find there are products based on assets. So let's say there could be equity, debt, gold, real estate, but within that asset also there are different type of products, let's say large cap oriented, mid cap oriented, small cap oriented, or government securities in case of debt funds. Within that also you have got a mix of different type of securities, let's say multi cap, which is again large cap, mid cap, small cap, or bond funds where again you have got corporate bond or GSEC. So you have got a mix of products. Then you have got mix of assets product also, which we can call it hybrid funds. So there could be conservative hybrid fund, balanced hybrid fund, moderate aggressive hybrid funds, again depending upon what proportion you have got in debt and equity. Then there are sector specific fund. So let's say if I want to invest in a particular industry where I am more positive, I can select that sector fund and it can invest. If I want to move along with the market, then I have got passive fund in a form of index fund, ETFs. Or if I want a better return than the market, then I need to get into a actively managed fund. So I have got active funds. Then there are funds based on various strategy and style. So let's say if I'm looking for a particular strategy, maybe aggressive or conservative, or the investment approach, I can select that fund. All these things are well defined and well communicated in various fund specific investment instruments. You can know all these things in scheme information documents. So if I look at it, I have got variety fund to choose from. If I want to protect my short term risk, then I can go into a debt fund, and there also matching my own investment horizon, that's the duration, I can select a product with the matching duration. That's well defined in the fund investment objective, and also it is well stated in the scheme information documents. So I can capture the upside gain by, if let's say if I get into equity, but there I have to be a long term investor, and simultaneously I can protect the downside risk also by being in a debt fund where there is less of a market risk. Now let's look at it. Does it manage all type of risk? Mutual fund investment again is done after doing a thorough research. So there are a lot of research done before selecting any investment, say product or security, and based on the investment objective and based on the research input, the fund management acts on that. So it's not that money is invested just by looking at some few variables, but a thorough research is done. So once the thorough research is done, then of course the probability of going wrong is less. Now money is not invested in a single industry or a single company, but it is invested in a multiple industries, multiple companies, multiple securities. So what happens, even if you have invested in the best of the industries, best of the companies, you are scattering your money across different securities. That means you are not exposing your money in a single security or a single company. So in that way, what you are doing, you are diversifying the risk. There is a very close watch kept on the economic and market factors, because risk also comes from the economic and market factors. So the fund management can make certain changes in order to take advantage if there is a positive factors, or if there is a negative factor, then they can also protect from the risk. Let's say for example, if there is a rise in interest rate, then what happens, all the debt securities get affected and there is a mark to market loss, that means a valuation loss. In that case, the fund manager will move from the long term maturity paper to a shorter term maturity paper to protect the loss. The reverse is also true. Let's say if there is a fall in the interest rate, then all the debt securities will have a mark to market rise or valuation gain. In that case, longer maturity debt papers are preferred. There are some securities, particularly in case of equity, which are overvalued vis-a-vis their intrinsic value, that is the real value. So in that case, the fund manager can capture the upside and book the profit for the investor. There are a lot of securities at times who are highly undervalued, that means less than their intrinsic value. So he can put some money in those securities and capture the upside gain of future. Please remember, return is an outcome of the risk. So risk is always coming from economic and market factors. Risk is from the different assets, different securities. So those risks are there, but more important is how well those risks are managed, because risk can act in both ways. It can give you upside gain also, it can give you a downside loss also. So more important is how well you manage the risk. Now for any layman, it's not easy to first of all to understand the risk and then how to manage the risk. So mutual fund in fact is the best investment vehicle where risk management comes to the play and gives you a optimal return That means a return which can be given in the best possible scenario in the given economy. Does it take advantage of the opportunities provided by the economy and market? Basically, a fund portfolio is made based on the investment objective, because this is what the investor want. But at times we have seen market behaves differently. It can give you an opportunity of upside gain also, or maybe there could be losses also. So fund management keeps a watch on both these things and take advantage of it. So which we call it strategic versus tactical. So let's say if there is an opportunity, if there is a bullish trend, then some money can be invested in some of the securities which take advantage of this bullish trend or upside gain in the market. Maybe there could be money moving from the value stocks to the growth stocks. Growth stocks are those stocks which move fast in a growing economy or in an expansion economy, whereas value stocks are those stocks which are stable, profitable companies, but they don't have such a upside like growth stocks. Growth stocks are basically mid and small cap or evolving company stocks, whereas growth value are generally large cap stocks. Similarly, there can be allocation in a defensive stocks. Defensive means irrespective of whatever the economic condition be, the stocks or that company doesn't get affected, or can move into cyclical stocks which takes advantage of certain consumption cycle. There can be more exposure in cash or less exposure in cash, depending upon whether there is a upside movement or downside movement. The use of derivative as a defensive strategy is there to protect the downside risk. In a debt fund, again looking at the interest rate scenario, there can be accrual strategy or duration strategy. Accrual strategy means very simply ki of the total return, the component which is giving you more return in that, which is the interest income or coupon income, that dominates. Whereas in a duration strategy, of course, mark to market gain or loss is well managed. So duration strategy is generally used when there is a fall in the interest rate, whereas accrual strategy is generally used when there is a rise in the interest rate. In debt fund, again looking at the scenario, maybe money can be moved into different maturities, or analyzing the yield spread, yield curve, credit spread, credit rating, and money can be moved accordingly, so that both the upside as well as the downside thing, both things are well managed. Does it provide enough flexibility? That means many options to choose from. I can invest on my own, or I can seek the help of a professional advisor or distributor. Again, you have to do a cost benefit analysis, because you can invest on your own, but do you have that all those expertise or knowledge or information, or can you take timely action? If you are getting from a professional, then of course if it is coming at a cost, then it's worth going rather than risking all your money. Should I be going for online or through paper? Again, a choice is with you. Online gives you convenience, whereas in a paper form, just it gives you a satisfaction. So online is generally preferred. Whether I want regular income based on my needs, or I want that income to be reinvested back in the fund, or I don't want any income, or simply growth of the money, the choice is with me. But whatever you select, it should be based on your cash flow requirement, again looking at your profile, at what life cycle stage you are, and also the tax consideration. I can invest systematically, that is called SIP, systematic investment plan. That means regularly investing a fixed amount at a fixed time in a well defined or a pre-decided scheme. Or let's say if I don't want to invest regularly, but I have got a lump sum, then I can put it in a liquid type of fund, and then in a phased manner, maybe another 24 or 36 months, through STP route, which is called systematic transfer plan, I can invest that money and it can go to the targeted scheme. Or if I feel okay, the condition is well enough, good enough, I can invest the lump sum also. Generally, if the NAV is very high or market is at a high level, then you might be having some fear, some doubt what can happen in next 6 months or something like that. Then there it is always better to scatter the money and put it in a liquid fund, and then move in a scattered way or a systematic transfer plan way. But if the NAV is very low or market is at very low level, then there is no harm investing in one go, that is lump sum. Similarly, again based on my cash flow requirement, how I want my money back. If I want it regularly, then I can go for systematic withdrawal plan, which is called SWP. Or let's say if I want small amount, let's say for particular usage, then I can go for partial redemption. Or in case I want all the amount, then I can go for full redemption. So all these choices are with me. I can defer paying tax by being in a growth option. Now this is a very, very big advantage. So let's say if I'm in a growth option, and if naturally if I'm going to pay a long-term capital gain tax, then both for non-equity or for equity, I'm paying a much lesser tax compared to any other investment vehicle. In a non-equity fund, the long-term capital gain is 20% with indexation benefit. There is no other financial instrument which gives you an indexation benefit. Indexation benefit means that whatever erosion of value of money has been because of inflation, you get protected by that. Even in an equity fund, the long-term capital gain is only 10%. So I take advantage of that. The another advantage of being in a growth option is that if I am, let's say, doing a direct stock trading, then whenever I am booking a profit, then I have to pay a capital gain tax, again whether it's a short term or long term. But if the same profit booking is done within a fund by a fund manager, then tax is not being paid, because in a mutual fund ultimately the real owner or beneficiary is the investor. Mutual fund is just an asset manager, so tax liability is only on the owner. So whenever I am getting any gain, whether in form of dividend or in terms of profit, let's say whether I am selling it, then only I am going to pay the tax. So if you look at it, if I want to stay in an equity fund for 10 years, and just imagine there has been 1000 times a profit booking has been done by the fund manager, then this all small amount is going to help in your enhancement of your return. Is it fair and transparent? Now let me tell you one thing, I don't find any other investment vehicle or investment avenue more transparent than mutual fund. At the website of the particular AMC and as well as AMFI, there are lots of disclosure on a daily basis. So the first thing is, by the end of the day, you know what is the NAV, that is the net asset value of one unit of your investment. So you know what is the total investment value as per the market value. But though there is a complete disclosure on the NAV, my suggestion is don't try to track NAV on a daily basis. You can do it, but periodically, maybe once in a quarter or at least once in a month. There is a complete portfolio disclosure, pie to pie, where the money has been invested, industry wise, company wise, credit rating wise, maturity wise, all these details are there. So this can give you an idea about the concentration or diversification point of view, and also the quality of investment. So I can have a fair bit of judgment whether my money has been invested in right type of company or not. Return disclosures are there based on the different time duration. So let's say for a debt fund, it is 1 day, 7 day, 15 days, all those things are there, because debt fund generally is meant more for the shorter term or short to mid term. For equity fund is also the returns are there, 1 year, 3 year, 5 years since inception. So you get an idea how the fund has performed. At the website of the AMC, and there are other fund tracking companies also, you can get a comparative view of the different funds within the same category. Along with the fund return, you also get an idea about the benchmark return. Now benchmark is very important thing to understand. We always say mutual fund is subject to market risk. So what is this market and how it can be understood and how it can be represented? So benchmark is something which we can say it represents the market where money has been invested. So when the benchmark return is also there for the same time duration, you can get a comparative view how your fund where you have invested or where you are planning to invest has done better or worse than the benchmark. So this can give you a fair bit of analysis as far as fund performance is concerned. The risk aspect, that's very important, that can be known through standard deviation and beta. So standard deviation is again looking at the fund's return volatility vis-a-vis the average return of the same fund. So it gives you an idea about the fund risk with itself, which is itself average return. There is something called beta, which again gives the volatility of the fund return vis-a-vis the benchmark or the market return. Then there are Sharpe ratio and Treynor ratio, which are nothing but a risk adjusted return. So all of us know it, yes, there is a risk involved in a mutual fund, but at the same time there is a minimum return which everybody expects, which you can call it risk free rate, which are generally taken as a treasury bill or G-Sec return. So what is Sharpe ratio? It is nothing but a return of the scheme minus risk free rate, which is the G-Sec return, divided by the standard deviation. So in other words, I can say how much excess return I am getting over and above risk free rate after managing all the risk. Treynor ratio, similarly, return of the scheme minus risk free rate divided by beta. So I can put it this way, how much excess return I am getting over and above risk free rate after managing all the market risk. So this gives me a better idea about the risk adjusted return. That means risk is there, but how well the risk has been managed and how the excess return has been given over and above the risk free rate. So when I compare again all these terms with the other funds in a peer group, I get a comparative analysis how good or how bad the fund has been vis-a-vis their peer group. So this is a very, very important thing for us to understand. There is nothing hidden, everything is transparent. There is no differentiation between a big investor and a small investor. Whether you invest 5,000 or 5 crore, NAV is same. The return disclosures are the same. Portfolio is the same. So if you look at it, we always say mutual fund is the only investment vehicle I can say where it does not differentiate between big and small. Is it well regulated? The regulator, SEBI and RBI have got lots of regulation, and each mutual fund has to follow those regulations, those norms, those guidelines, and the fund acts in accordance to that. There is a compliance officer which has to submit certain compliances report to the regulator and also to the trustees, which ensures that things are being done in accordance to the rules, guidelines, norms laid down. Trustees are there. In no other industry I have seen trustees. Trustees are there to ensure that things are being done in a proper way. Nothing is done which harms the interest of investors. So this is another big advantage I can say if somebody is investing in a mutual fund. Then there is a AMC board which again takes care of the supervision of AMC functioning on a day-to-day basis. Apart from all the do's and don'ts, guidelines, norms, valuation norms, how much is the limit to invest in a particular industry, particular company, that is laid down by SEBI. Each AMC or each fund house, they have got their own internal risk management also. They have got various decision making templates, decision making approach, and they follow that also. So you have got two layers of risk management in any fund houses if you look at it. There are many more things which I can say to justify why mutual fund sahi hai, but since we have got some time limit only, and I believe you people have got limited time, but if anybody wants to attend my free webinar on why mutual fund sahi hai, then you can send a mail to info@nurtureindiaconsultants.com with your name, mobile number, and of course email ID will be there. So I can invite you for the free webinars where I can explain you all these things and many other new things also in complete detail. If you feel this video has helped you in understanding why mutual fund sahi hai, then please give your views, your comments, like it, and share with your other friends, colleagues, relatives, so that they also get an idea about it, why mutual fund sahi hai, and they should also invest in a mutual fund and take advantage of this best investment vehicle I can say available in our economy. A small thing about me, I am Prakash Ranjan Sinha. I am MSc, MBA. I am a equity research analyst, and I have been also conferred as a certified portfolio manager by Institute of Financial Analyst. My profile in brief, I am Prakash Ranjan Sinha, Director Nurture India Consultant Private Limited. I have been in this industry from last 32 years, since 1989, and I give lot of trainings to various bankers, mutual fund employees, corporate employees, students of management institutes, and even I have given trainings to the faculty of Mumbai University. I do come on Zee Business on their various investment related programs, I'm a MSc, MBA, equity research analyst, and also certified portfolio manager by Council of Portfolio Management and Research. So this is a brief introduction about me, and if you have liked the video, please share it, like it, and keep watching my other videos to follow. I believe I am going to talk about only those subjects, those topics which I feel needs better clarity, better understanding by most of our Indians, which I will call it general masses of the country. Thanks for giving your valuable time, and all the best. Good luck to all of you. Thank you.